No coming, no going, no after, no before. I hold you close to me. I release you to be so free, because I am in you.
Good morning, dear Sangha. Yesterday, a six-year-old boy asked me, where is his daddy now? Where is his father now? Because his father committed suicide not very long ago. And he wants to get in touch with his father, knowing that his father is already dead, and don't know how to get in touch with him. And he also is afraid that he will lose his mother. And that is why he lives in fear and sorrow. And in this Dharma talk, they will try to answer his question. We know that according to the Buddha, according to our practice, it is possible to live happily. The answer is positive. To live happily in the present moment is something possible, and it is our practice. The other question is whether we can die peacefully and happily also. And the answer is yes. It is possible to die happily and peacefully if you have the insight brought to you by your practice of meditation. Many people are very afraid of dying, and their fear is based on their ignorance. And that is why it's very important to look deeply in order to get the insight about life, about reality, in order to remove fear in us. And with non-fear, we can die with a smile, happily. When a cloud is about to become rain, if the cloud knows that it's not going to die, it is going to be transformed into rain, it will not be afraid at all. To be a cloud floating in the sky is very beautiful. But to be the rain falling on the grass, on the field, is also very beautiful. And with that kind of knowledge, a cloud is not afraid of dying, because it is impossible for a cloud to die. A cloud can only become the rain, the snow, or the ice. A cloud can never die. It cannot become nothing. Your father is like that. your father has transformed himself into other forms. He's always there with you and maybe very deep inside of you. If you know how to touch him, you feel that he is with you 24 hours a day. And not only he is within you, he is all around you. And if you have the eye of the Buddha, you can touch him and recognize him. Those of us who have lost our beloved one should practice the teaching of the Buddha in order to get free from their grief, that our beloved one is still there. He or she is like a cloud. If a cloud cannot die, and your beloved one cannot die either, from nothing, from something you cannot become nothing. From someone you cannot become no one. And that is the teaching offered by the Buddha for us to look deeply into our true nature in order to overcome fear. Many people ask the question, what shall I become after I die? Many people want to ask that question. What happened to me when I die? What shall I become after I die? This question seems to be difficult, but to me it's not difficult at all. Everyone can answer that question if she or he knows how to ask another question. The other question is that, what happened in this moment when I am still alive? What I become in this moment when I am still alive? This is a very important question. And if you can answer that question, you can answer the question, what you become after you die? What happened after you die? In this very moment, what happens to me? What happened to you? In this very moment, I am producing thoughts. I am producing speech. I am producing physical action. And all these things come from me. They are my continuation. In Buddhism, we speak of right thinking. Right thinking means the kind of thinking that goes along with understanding and compassion. That kind of thinking will never bring you suffering and never bring suffering to other people. That is why it's very important, it's very nice to produce nice thinking, right thinking. And in this moment, I am producing thinking, and I want it to be right thinking. And this very moment, you are producing thinking, and I hope that you are producing right thinking, the thinking that goes along with reality, with understanding, with compassion. Because every thought of ours is our continuation, and they bear our signature. When you have produced a thought, that thought penetrates into you and into the cosmos, and it bears your signature. You have to be responsible for that thought. You cannot deny that it's not my thought. That's not true. You yourself have produced that thought. And if it is a thought produced in the line of right thinking, then that is a good continuation of yours. And in my daily life, I produce a lot of thought. I want my thoughts, all my thoughts to be in the line of right thinking. That is my continuation. When you look for me, you should not look only for this physical body. I am in my thinking. The nectar of my being can be found in my thinking. And my practice is to try to produce only right thinking that will bear my signature. And then you may like to produce right speech. Right speech is the kind of words that can inspire confidence, understanding, love, and reconciliation. If your speech is characterized by anger, discrimination, despair, violence, that's not right speech. That is why I very much care that the speech I produce should be right speech. There is no anger, no discrimination, no fear, no violence, no craving in it. Because I know that all my speeches bear my signature. I cannot deny that it's not mine. I am responsible for my thinking and my speech. If you say something that creates a division and hatred, you will be continued not beautifully. Because your speech is your continuation. And when you look for me, you should look for my speech. You should not only look for my physical body, because my speech is truly me. And that is why in our daily practice, we want to make sure that we only produce right speech, that kind of speech that inspire confidence and hope and joy and reconciliation. And that is the object of practice of the fourth mindfulness training. And then in every moment of my daily life, I want to produce right action. Right action is the kind of action that express love, understanding, help, service. The kind of action that is motivated by violence, hate, and fear is not right action. And every action of mine, physically speaking, bears my signature. After having produced an action, I cannot deny that it's not my action because it has my signature in it. And that is why your thinking, your speech, and your actions are your true continuation. Suppose I light this candle. This candle is not very different from a human being. When it is lit, the first question you ask is that what happened to the candle after it died, after it came to this point? And the new question is, what happened to the candle in this very moment? And if you can answer the second question, you can answer also the first question. What happens in this very moment to the candle? What is the candle becoming in this moment? It's not difficult to see. In this very moment, the candle is producing many things. The first thing we can see is that the candle is producing light, right? Light. The candle is producing heat. The candle is producing smoke and water. You don't know, but the candle produces water. And the candle may produce fragrance. There are many fragrant kind of candles. So in this moment, the candle is producing all these things. And all these things should be realized, should be recognized as the continuation of the candle. And you have to see the candle in what it produces. You should not only see the candle in the wax. I have told my friends that you should not recognize me through this physical body. It's like the wax. I am more than this physical body. I am my thinking, my speech, and my action. And if you recognize me in these three elements, you really recognize me. So if you think of me as this physical body, you miss most of it, most of me. So the teaching of Buddha provides us with the methods helping us to handle the present moment the best way we can. Because it is in the present moment that we are offering ourselves. We are producing our thought, our speech, and our action. And that is our continuation. I cannot die. I can never die. I can only be transformed into my thought, my speech, and my action. And my thought, my speech, and my action are not only here, they are elsewhere also. Look for me, not in this direction. Look for me in the other direction. Look for me in yourself, because I am partly in each of my friends. It's like when you look into your left hand, you can see your mother. When you look into your left hand, you can see your father. Why do you have to go very far to see your father? He's right here. Very concrete. Let us do meditation together. This piece of paper is the object of our meditation. When you look deeply into this sheet of paper, you can see a tree, a forest. Because you know very well that without trees, without forests, you cannot make not make paper. They cut the trees and they make that paste, and with that paste they make paper, all kind of paper, including toilet paper. Kleenex, and so on. So if you are a true practitioner looking into this sheet of white paper, you can see the green color of the trees and of the forest. And when I touch the sheet of paper, I touch the trees and the forest. And then you can see a cloud floating in the sheet of paper. Can you see a cloud? Yes. You don't have to be a poet in order to see a cloud floating in a sheet of paper. You know very well without the cloud, there will be no rain and no trees can grow. That is why when I touch the sheet of paper, I touch the cloud in it. And I can touch the sunshine. Because without the sunshine, no trees can grow. That is why, looking deeply, you see many, many things in a sheet of paper. And we have mentioned a few: a tree, a cloud, and the sunshine. But you can touch the earth, the soil, and the minerals in the earth, because without them, trees cannot grow. And you can touch the worker in the paper mill. Without him, the trees, the sunshine, the forest cannot become a sheet of paper. So I can touch him here, the worker in the paper mill. And you might like to ask, dear little sheet of paper, where have you come from? Have you come from nothing? Can you tell me your birth date? Do you think that the sheet of paper has a birthday? The moment when the sheet of paper took this form, but the sheet of paper has not come from nothing. Because in our mind, to be born means from nothing you suddenly become something. From no one you suddenly become someone. That is the way our mind functions. In our mind, we think that to be born means from no one you suddenly become someone. And that moment you call birth. And you make a certificate, birth certificate. If you were born the 1st of February the 1st, 2000, you think that before that date you did not exist. You are wrong. You were already in the womb of your mother. That date, that hour is only the moment when you go out. Before that you had been there. So to say that you did not exist before that date, that's not correct. So the time, the date written down on your birth certificate is not correct. It's not correct. Before that moment, you had been there in your mother. She had carried you at least 9 months. And we cannot say that during these 9 months, you did not exist. It's not true. You already existed before your birth date. And you were the object of love of your mommy and your daddy. That is why you have to push the date back at least 9 months. But that date is not correct either. Because the moment of your conception in the womb of your mother is not really the beginning of you. You think that before that you did not exist. But that's not true. You had been there, maybe half in your father and half in your mother. So that date is not correct either. It's not possible for us to establish a birth certificate. Because our true nature is nature of no birth. We have always been there in other forms. And that moment you call birth is only a moment of a new manifestation, not the moment of your birth, a moment of your continuation in another form. Suppose we burn the sheet of paper. We want the sheet of paper to die and to become nothing. Is it possible? You already know that it's impossible for a cloud to die. It is the same with the sheet of paper. A sheet of paper can never die. It can only be transformed and continue in other forms. If I burn the sheet of paper, and if you are watching carefully with mindfulness, you see the processes of transformation. You see the sheet of paper being transformed into smoke, going up to the sky and join a cloud. You see the heat produced by the burning penetrated into Thầy and to all of you, into the cosmos. And you see the ashes falling down. And that is only three things I mentioned. And that is why the moment of the so-called death of sheet of paper is only a moment of continuation. Of the cloud. And I can look up and say, hello there, my little sheet of paper, I know you are up there. And tomorrow maybe you will fall down on my forehead as a drop of rain. We meet each other again soon. And therefore, it's impossible for a sheet of paper to die. Birth and dying are only ideas that we have here in our head. The French scientist Lavoisier said that nothing is born, nothing died. And he declared that as a scientist. He was not a Buddhist, but he practiced looking deeply into the nature of energy and matter. And he found out that their nature is also the nature of no birth and no death. Rien ne se crée, rien ne se perd. Nothing is created, is born. Nothing die and become nothing. The nature of a cloud is the nature of no birth and no death. Before being a cloud floating in the sky, the cloud had been water, heat, fog, vapor, all of that. A cloud has not come from nothing. A cloud has come from many things, and the birth of a cloud is only a continuation of the cloud in a cloud form. And you know that the cloud can never die. And we have to learn to look with the eyes of the Buddha. When you drink some tea, drinking mindfulness in order to see that you are drinking a cloud. I am practically drinking a cloud. Thank you, cloud. You have made yourself available to us in the form of water, in the form of rain. And with that Buddha eyes, you can get in touch with the cloud. Not in the sky, but right in your cup. When you eat your ice cream, smile to the ice cream and recognize the cloud in the ice cream. And you say, thank you, cloud. Now I am in touch with you in the form of my wonderful ice cream. Because ice is water, ice is cloud. We are caught in forms. That is why we suffer. If we have the eyes of formlessness, signlessness, we don't have to suffer anymore. If you are attached to a particular cloud, all of us, all of you have been attached to a particular cloud. And when the cloud is no longer there in the sky, you suffer. But your cloud is always there. Only it is now in another form. Your cloud now is in the rain. And the rain is calling you, darling, darling, I'm here. Don't you see me? Don't cry. And you keep crying because you cannot recognize your beloved one in his or new form. So with the Buddha eyes, you can get out of your grief and smile. Smile to yourself. Smile to your beloved cloud. To your beloved that is no longer there in his or her usual form. And it's possible to recognize him or her in other forms. Your Father is always there, within you and around you. And you can smile to him, touch him, and recognize him at any moment. Please look at this matchbox and look at the eyes of the Buddha. Because I have transmitted to you the Buddha eyes. Can you see the flame? Hidden in the many conditions that are available. We speak of the manifestation of the flame. The flame has not manifested yet, but is somewhere there already. The flame is hidden in many conditions. You can see in the box and also outside of the box. Don't think that the the flame is hidden only in the box. Because outside of the box, like in the air, you know that there is oxygen. Without oxygen in the air, a flame can never manifest itself in the form of a flame. And even if with oxygen ready and every other conditions ready, there is another condition that is needed for the flame to manifest. That is the movement of my finger. So you can talk to the flame. Flame, I know you are there. Manifest yourself. And the flame said, yes, but help me to manifest. Bring the last condition. Strike a match. And then we will provide the flame with the last condition so that she will manifest. This is the manifestation of the flame. The word manifestation is much better than the word birth or creation. The flame has manifested itself because all conditions are sufficient. Remember, when all the conditions come together sufficiently, something manifests. And continue its manifestation. Now we can see the flame in its form. We know that the flame will disappear and take other forms. And while being in this form, it continues to produce itself in other forms, namely heat, light, and smoke. You have to see the flame also in the smoke it produces, in the heat it produces, and in the light it produces. Otherwise, you are caught in a sign, in a form. Flame, manifest yourself again. Well, it always manifests itself when conditions are sufficient. Now we would like to ask the flame, my dear little flame, where have you come from? And the flame will say, Thầy, dear Thầy Disanga, I have come from nowhere. I have not come from the east, not from the west, not from the north, not from the south. When conditions are sufficient, I manifest. I have come from nowhere. And that is a good answer. Because the nature of the flame is the nature of no coming. No coming. Many philosophers ask, where have we come from, humans? And if they practice looking deeply like the Buddha, they see that man has come from nowhere. When conditions manifest, and when conditions are sufficient, man manifests in the man form. And now we ask the flame whether it is no longer in its form. My dear little flame, where have you gone? And if you listen carefully and you hear the flame telling you, dear Thầy Disanga, I have gone nowhere. I have not gone to the south. I have not gone to the north, the east or the west. When conditions are no longer sufficient, I just stop manifestation and wait. You see, this is a good answer also. And we know that the true nature of the flame is the nature of no coming, no going. Your father's nature is like that. His nature is nature of no birth, no death, no coming, no going. You have to look for your father in that direction, and you can touch his true being, true nature. I'd like to ask the flame to manifest again. Dear flame, be kind to manifest yourself again. Now with the candle, I want to create another flame. Do you think these are two different flames or they are just one? Same flame or two different ones? Let us meditate together, not letting me do it alone. One or two? Are you sure? I still have another candle. Now it seems that the third candle has been born. It looks like we have had three candles, three flames. You see, it looks like we have had three different flames. But in fact, it's not so. And if you tell me that the three flames are one, it's not correct either. If you look into your sun, you know that your sun is your continuation. And as he is your continuation, he is you. The father has to look at his son in that kind of insight. The mother has to look at her son, her daughter in the same way. My daughter is my continuation. She is me. If I get angry at her, I get angry at myself. If I get angry at my son, I get angry at myself. Because my son is my continuation, my son is myself. If I say, you are not my son should not be like that. Because the behavior of your son is not to your liking, that is why you say you are not my son. That's not correct. Whether you like him or not, he is your son. He is your continuation. And if you make him suffer, you suffer. The fact is that you and your son are not two different entities, not two entirely different persons. Because your son is your continuation. And if you say that you and your son are just one person, that's not correct either. And even yourself, you are not the same with yourself. You are not a different person with yourself. If you still have your family album, and if you have a picture of you taken when you were 5, and if you compare the 5-year-old boy of a 5-year-old boy or 5-year-old girl to the grown-up person that you are now, you cannot say that they are the same person. Well, the name is the same. David is still David. But you have changed so much. A lot of cells have died. And the cells you carry now are very new. And as far as feelings, perceptions, mental formations and consciousness, they have all changed. You are not the same with you when you were 5. And that is why to say that you are the same person always, that is an illusion. That is a wrong perception. You believe in a permanent entity. You may call it you, your soul. If you believe yourself as an immortal soul, to believe in an immortal self, and that will survive after your body disintegrates, that is a wrong perception. Because looking deeply, we cannot see anything that can remain the same in 2 consecutive moments. This is a scientific truth. You look at the river, and you smile to the river, and in the evening you go to sleep, and in the morning you wake up, and you go out and you see, look at the river again, you see this is the same river. But that is not true. It's not the same river. The water in it is different. No one can take it, can swim twice in the same river. And that is the nature of impermanence. Nothing can remain the same in 2 consecutive moments. Our person is made of form, feelings, mental formation, perceptions, consciousness. And all these 5 rivers flow day and night and change all the time. Nothing can remain the same. And that's why with the key of impermanence, you can unlock the door of reality. And that is why if you believe that there is an immortal soul remaining the same forever and ever, that is a wrong perception. But if you think that when you die, well, there's nothing. From someone, you would suddenly become no one at all. From being, you become non-being. That is another extreme. That is also a wrong perception. Eternalism is a wrong idea. Annihilation is another wrong idea. Reality transcends both the notion of eternalism and annihilation. And that is the truth. The Buddha proclaimed the truth of the middle way, transcending the extremes. You believe that you begin to exist, to be only after you are born. And when you die, from being you become non-being again. That is a wrong perception. And fear arises from such a wrong perception. Suppose I draw on the board a line, a straight line representing time. goes in this direction. And suppose here is a point you call B, birth. And this moment, this hour, this day, this month, this year is recorded as the moment of your birth. And you are inclined to believe that from point B back, you did not exist. That was your non-being. And from the point B on, you begin to exist. And that is, you are qualified as being. And then sometime later, maybe 80 years or 100 years, you come to a point called D, death. And they believe, including the doctors, that from this moment on, you are no longer there. And they describe you as non-being. The Buddha said that when something has not manifested, they are already there in these conditions. You cannot qualify it as non-being. When you come to Plum Village, France, in the month of July, you see a lot of sunflowers field, very beautiful. It's a great pleasure to walk among the sunflowers. But if you come in early May, you don't see any sunflowers. But the farmers walking through their fields, they can already see the sunflowers because they have plowed the land, planted the seeds of sunflowers, and invest fertilizers into it. Every conditions are sufficient, were there for the sunflower to manifest, except one: the heat of June and July. It's like my dear little flame is always there. All the conditions are ready to help the flame to manifest, except the last condition, which is the movement of my two fingers. So before the sunflower manifests, they are there, they already are there. And you cannot qualify them as non-being because you have the notion of being. That is why you have to accept the notion of non-being. Because without the notion of non-being, the notion of being cannot be there for you. There are pairs of opposites that always come together. If there is birth, there must be death. If there is coming, there must be going. If there is left, there must be right. It cannot be left alone without right. So being and non-being like that. So when you say that God is the ground of being, it disturbs me. Because if God is the ground of being, and then who will be the ground of non-being? Because being cannot be possible without non-being. It's like the left and the right. If politically you are on the left, you should not wish for the non-existence of the right. If the right is not there, there's no way that you can be as the left. That is why the notion of being is dangerous, because it always includes the notion of non-being. Being and non-being, they are ideas. And these ideas cannot be applied to the ultimate reality. It is like the notion of birth and death. When you observe a cloud, a piece of paper, a flame, you see that their nature is the nature of no birth, no death, no coming, no going, neither the same, nor two different things. And the notion of being and non-being cannot be applied to them either. When you have a TV set, if you bring a TV set in this room and we turn on, you will hear a lot of noise and see a lot of image. And we qualify them as existing, as being. And without the television set, we think that there's nothing there, but that's not true. All the signals of television are there, filling the room. And because that condition is not there, that is why we don't see them. We don't see the TV programs, all the noises and colors, and we qualify them as non-being. It's wrong. In Buddhism, there is a term nirvana. Nirvana means extinction. Extinction of what? Extinction of all notions, including the notions of birth, death, coming, going, same, difference, being and non-being. If you cannot get rid of these notions, you cannot touch the ultimate reality. And scientists can do that also. If they look deeply, when they go into the world of the quantum, they have to leave behind a lot of notions. Otherwise, they cannot understand anything about quantum physics. You have to leave behind many notions that you have in your daily life in order to really understand something about the nature of the elementary particle. Like the notion of a wave. Or the notion of a particle. Intellectually, a wave can only be a wave. It cannot be a particle. A particle can only be a particle. It cannot be a wave. That's our way of thinking. That's our notion. But when you are a nuclear scientist, you should be able to get rid of these notions. Otherwise, you cannot understand the true nature of a particle, of an electron. Because that reality sometimes expresses itself as a wave, with many characteristics of a wave. And sometimes it manifests itself as a particle with all the characteristics of a particle. So you get lost if you are caught in one of the two signs or two forms. That's why scientists have invented a funny word to denote the reality: wavico. Wave is a wave, echo is particle, wavico. It means that you have to transcend the idea of wave and particle in order to really understand the reality of physics. If you do not abandon the notion of birth and death, of coming and going, you have no means to touch reality in itself. If you are caught by the idea of being and non-being, and you cannot see the truth. And that is why nirvana is the extinction of notions, ideas. And the extinction of notion of ideas bring about the extinction of fear, of despair, of jealousy. Suppose we contemplate the waves on the ocean. A wave is supposed to be born, to go up, to go down, to be high or to be low, or to be this or to be that. All this notion of going up, going down, being high, being low, being this, being that, being more or less beautiful, these ideas can only be applied to the wave. And it is possible for the wave to come home to herself and realize that she is water. The moment when the wave knows that she is water, she is no longer afraid of going up, going down, being big, being small. Because water transcends all these notions of going up, going down, high or low. The same thing is true. When we are able to touch our true nature, the nature of no birth, no death, the nature of no coming, no going, and then we are no longer afraid of going up, going down, being and non-being, coming and going. And that is why nirvana is, first of all, the silencing, the silence, the extinction of all notions, but also of all the sufferings, our afflictions born from these notions, including the affliction of fear and despair. And looking deeply into the nature of a cloud, of a sheet of paper, of a flame, you realize that their true nature is the nature of no birth, no death, no coming, no going, neither the same nor two different entities. And they cannot be described as being or non-being either. The Buddha said, when things have not manifested, you qualify it as non-being. And when conditions are manifested, you qualify it as being. That's not correct. We should transcend the notion of being and non-being. That is why in this teaching and practice, to be or not to be, it is not the question. It's not the real question. It's a false question. If you are not too busy, we would have the time in our daily life to look at things in depth and touch the nature of no birth, no death, no coming, no going. And the Buddha provided us with different instruments to help us unlock the door of reality. the key of impermanence, the key of non-permanent self, of no permanent self. You and your son, you are not two different, distinct selves. Although you are not exactly the same person, but you are not two. You are not two different persons either. Your nature, the nature of your son, is nature of neither same nor different. And if you experience it deeply, and then you, as a couple, father and son, will not make each other suffer anymore. Anything happen to you, happen to your son. Anything happen to your son, happen to you. That is because you have touched the nature of neither the same nor two different entities. There was a person, a lay person, a rich businessman living in the time of the Buddha. He requested the Buddha to offer this teaching to lay people because it seemed that at that time only the monks and the nuns received this kind of teaching. I think because lay people were so busy. Anattapinika was the name of that rich businessman. He loved the Buddhas a lot. He's very much appreciated by the people of his country because he had a very generous heart. He devoted a lot of his time, energy, and money in order to support the poor people, the destitute people in the country. That is why they have given him this beautiful name, Anattapinika, the one who supports the destitute. His real name is Sudatta. He had a family, 3 children. And it is him who invited the Buddha to come to his country and offer the teaching of mindfulness. One day he went to the country of Magadha, south of the Ganges River, to visit his brother-in-law. And he learned that there was a teacher called Buddha. He had the opportunity to meet the Buddha in the early morning and became his disciple. He admired the Buddha so much that he invited the Buddha to come to his country, the kingdom of Kosala in the north. And the Buddha agreed, and he sent his monastic disciple Shariputra along to prepare the ground for his coming and teaching. Anattapinika went back to his city of Shravasti and bought a very beautiful park from a prince called Jeta Park, and wanted to donate it to the Buddha as a practice center for his monks. And the monk Shariputra helped him to organize. And a year later the Buddha came. And many people came to received his teaching, including the king of Kosala, who was of the same age with the Buddha. They became very close friends. And the king died at the age of 80, and the Buddha also died at the age of 80. But the king died a few months before the Buddha. Anathapindika had a son who did not want to come to the Dhamma talks of the Buddha. So one day Anathapindika had to use skillful means in order to have him in touch with the Buddha. He wanted the whole family to practice together as a Sangha. So he pretended to be sick. My dear son, I'm so tired today and I don't want to miss the Dhamma talk. Could you go to the talk for me and listen to the Buddha and just go home and tell me just one sentence of what he said? And I will offer you enough money to make a trip to enjoy the scenery of another beautiful place in the country. So his son accepted, and he went to the Dhamma talk, and he saw the Buddha, and he felt the energy of Sangha, and he loved it. So the Buddha did not, the Anathapindika did not have to hire him for the second time. And the whole family practiced mindfulness, concentration, insight, and became very happy. Anathapindika went bankruptcy at one time. But he did not suffer because he had so many good friends. That is why in that difficult moment his friend came and helped him out. He did not have to suffer anything. About 35 years after that, he got very sick. The Buddha came and visited him. And after that he asked Shariputra to take care and help Anathapindika to die peacefully and happily. That day Shariputra, who is a very intelligent monk, we can say that he is the right hand of the Buddha. He organized the Sangha. He took care of the Dhamma brothers, gave them teaching, practice, and so on. That day Shariputra learned that Anathapindika was dying. So he asked his younger brother in the Dhamma, the Venerable Ananda, which was a cousin of the Buddha, to come along. When they came, Anathapindika was so happy. He really needed the monk in that moment of his life. He tried to sit up, but he was so weak to do so. Shariputra said, "Dear friend, don't try. Just lie down. We will bring a few chairs and sit close to you." And then Shariputra asked, "My dear friend, how do you feel within your body? Is the pain in your body decreasing or is it increasing?" Anathapindika said, "Venerables, it does not seem that the pain in me is decreasing. In fact, it is increasing all the time. I suffer so much within my body." Shariputra said, "Then we should practice the 4 recollections. Letting our mind focus on the beauty, the goodness of the Buddha, of the Dhamma, of the Sangha, and of the mindfulness trainings. In the Plum Village Chanting book, there is a text on the 4 recollections. The monastics have already chanted once during this retreat. And I think the text is very much like the practice that Shariputra offered to Anattapanika that late morning. He knew very well that Anattapanika had taken a great deal of pleasure serving the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And every time he hears about the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, the seed of happiness in him are water. That is why Shariputra, who was very intelligent, knew what to do. And after maybe 6 or 7 minutes of practice, focusing attention on the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, the mindfulness trainings, and then the seed of happiness in Anattapanika were water and strong enough, and were able to restore the balance within him, and Anattapanika suffered much less. He was able to smile. This is a very wonderful and easy practice. If you are there sitting close to the person who is dying, you should do like Shariputra. Talk to him, talk to her in such a way that you can water the seed of happiness in that person. Don't talk about other things. Just water the seed of happiness, the memories of happiness, because you know him, you know her. That's why you know the kind of seeds that should be watered in that moment. And after that, the pain will be reduced, and the person can smile. Even the person is in a coma, you can still do that. You can still talk to him, talk to her, and only about the good things, the happy things. 20 years ago, there was a student who lived in Bordeaux, close to Plum Village. He learned that his mother was dying in California in a hospital. And we advised him to practice that. We knew that his mother was in a coma. And we advised him to sit close to her bed and just talk to her. You know our sister Không, who led the Touching the Earth practice. She had a big sister living in California who had a liver transplantation that worked well for 3 years. But after that, it didn't work anymore, and she was dying. And lying on her bed, she twisted painfully and emitted sounds of pain all the time. The doctors could not do anything in order to help her. And among the doctors, this is the daughter of the lady. Big sister of Sister Không had a daughter who was a doctor, but she could not do anything either. Sister Không arrived with a cassette tape chanting the name of Avalokiteshvara from Plum Village. She put the earphone on the ears of her big sister, played the cassette, and turned volume up. Strangely enough, 3 minutes later, her big sister lay very still, did not twist anymore, did not emit any sound of pain anymore, and stayed in that position, that state of being until she passed away. You know that in that difficult time, painful time, if you can touch something deep, spiritual, happiness in a dying person, they will bring her peace and calm and courage. In this case, only a tip. The chanting found way to come in, even vaguely, but touch off the seed of the practice in her big sister, because she had gone to temples and have recognized the chanting and the practice. So when the person is already in coma, don't despair. You can still do many things in order to help him or her to die peacefully. When Anattapanikai was able to smile, Shariputra said, "Very good. Let us continue our guided meditation. Please follow my instructions. Ananda and me, we are supporting you to do it. It's not me. I'm much more than this body. I'm light without boundaries. My nature is no birth, no dying. When you die, you have the intention of to identify yourself with the body. We have the tendency to think that this body is us. But this body is only one of the conditions to help us manifest, like oxygen, like the finger, like a matchbox. The flame is not the oxygen. The flame is not the fingers. The oxygen and the fingers are only conditions to help manifest the flame. Breathing in, I know that this body is not me. I am not caught in this body. So that the dying person can dissociate herself with the body and let go of the body. If she grasps that body as herself, it will be very difficult. And they begin with the body and end with the mind. There are 6 organs, 6 sense organs: eyes, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. That give rise to eyes consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and mind consciousness. This body is not me. These eyes are not me. These ears are not me. Dissociating ourselves from these elements. And then came the meditation of the 4 elements. The element earth in me is not me. I am not caught in the element earth. The element fire in my body is not me. I am not caught by the element fire. The element water in me is not me. I am not caught in the element water. The element air in me is not me. I am not caught in the element air. Dissociating ourselves with the 4 elements, the Mahabhutas. And finally they came to this meditation. This body manifests itself when conditions are sufficient. It has not come from nowhere. this body disintegrates. When conditions are no longer sufficient, it does not go anywhere. And he continued like that with the 6 sense organs. And the last one is mind. This mind consciousness is not mine, or is not. This mind consciousness manifests itself when conditions are sufficient. It has not come from anywhere. And this mind consciousness stops functioning when conditions are no longer sufficient. It does not go anywhere. In space, we may think that heaven or hell are situated in space. And the real nature of ourselves is the nature of non-going, no coming, non-going, no going. When conditions are sufficient, this body manifests. You cannot say that it is being. And when conditions are no longer sufficient, this body sees the manifestation. You cannot call it non-being. We are free from being and non-being. At that point, Anattapanika began to cry. And tears were running down his cheeks. Ananda was alarmed. Dear friend, why are you crying? Do you regret something? No, Venerable Ananda, I don't regret anything. Or your practice is not successful? No, Venerable Ananda, I practice very successfully. Why are you crying then? Dear Venerable Ananda, I cry because I am so moved. I have served the 3 jewels in the last 35 years, but I have never heard and received a teaching and a practice that is as deep as the one the Venerable Shariputra gave me this morning. I'm so happy, I'm so free. Ananda said, my dear friend, you don't know, but this kind of teaching we monastics we receive almost every day. Anattapanika smiled faintly, and he said, dear Venerable Ananda, he know that the Buddha loved Ananda a lot. Dear Venerable Ananda, please go home and tell the Lord, our teacher, that many lay people are so busy making money, running after fame and profit, and do not have the time, the capacity to receive this kind of teaching and practice. But still there are those of us in the circle of lay people. We have enough time and intelligence and capacity to receive this kind of teaching and practice. So please tell the Lord, tell our teacher to dispense this teaching also to the lay people. And this is my last request. And Ananda nodded. I promise I will tell the Lord. That was the last sentence pronounced by Anattapanika. A few moments later, he died with a smile. This story of the death of Anattapanika was recorded in a text called the teaching given to the dying person. And if you have a copy of the Plum Village Chanting book, you can see, you may have that text inside. If you are a psychotherapist, if you are a social worker, if you are a nurse, a doctor, if you are someone who has to accompany a dying person, you may like to train yourself according to this sutra. Meditating deeply to touch the nature of no birth, no death, no coming, no going, no being, no non-being. And then you will have non-fear, element of non-fear in you. And your presence close to dying person is very important. And you know how to practice like Shariputra in order to help him, to help her to die peacefully with a smile. And all of us have also to learn, because one day we will be in a situation where we have to help a person that is close to us to die. It means to stop his or her present manifestation in order to take up another or several other manifestations. My dear friends, it has been a great pleasure for all of us to be with you here in this retreat. It's so beautiful over here, very nourishing and healing. We are grateful for the staff of the YMCA to have provided us with this space, beautiful, and supported us in many ways to make this retreat a happy event. We also think of monastics and lay friends who have labored during the last 8 months in order to organize and make this retreat possible. We are grateful for all of them, to all of them. Many of you have received the 2 promises, the 3 refuges, and the 5 trainings. And we know that if we can practice together as a group, as a Sangha, so this practice will bring a lot of stability, nourishment, and joy to our life, and the life of our family and society. In this retreat, we are offered many concrete practice like a mindful breathing, total relaxation, touching the earth, walking in such a way that the kingdom of heaven become available. The kingdom is available. We should make ourselves available to the kingdom. You have been offered nothing less than the kingdom of heaven. Later on, we should not say that no one told you. We have been practicing together. I love the presence of the young people, the children here. All of you are my friends, my co-practitioners, and all of you belong to my Sangha. My Sangha is a little bit everywhere. And I want to hold all of you in my heart. Because I know that wherever you are, wherever you will be practicing mindful breathing, smiling, and touch the kingdom of heaven under your feet. And from time to time, I will pause and listen to you and ask you, my dear friends, are you still there with me in my heart? How are you doing? Can I rely on you? And if I listen very deeply, I hear your voice, dear Thầy, we are still there for you. We are doing our best. You can rely on us. And I will be very happy. And I hope also that you will hold me in your heart. And in your busy life, from time to time, you would stop and ask, Thầy, are you still there? How are you doing? Can we count on you? And then you hear me saying, my dear friends, I'm always there for you. I'm trying my best. Yes, my friend, you can count on me. I will continue to practice mindful breathing, mindful walking. There's so much violence and despair in our world, and I should be doing that together as a Sangha. And that is why, although we are going to depart, each person in one direction, but we always stay together as a Sangha. Please take care of yourself. And when you take care of yourself, you take care of us. Now I would like to invite the monastics and the members of the Order of Interbeing to come and offer a chant to conclude this retreat. Please enjoy the energy of compassion. Allow yourself to be penetrated by the protecting energy of the Bodhisattva, so that we may practice together. We shall be standing and joining our palm together.